Hey y'all, we're back. GI Operation, the CEO of Black Folk Hotspots. We are in episode 28, and we're with this episode, Black Beard Spotlight, is with CEO Jonathan Harvey of Your Own URLs from Philly. And today, one of the things we want to talk about for sure, and we'll get to it, is some of the problems that small businesses are having with their website, and what Jonathan's company, Your Own URLs, can help with that as well. And then we'll talk about a few other things. But Jonathan, how you doing today?
All right, sir. Yourself?
I'm doing pretty good. Can't complain. It's bright and sunny. So in the Chicagoland area, I'm in Indiana, Northwest Indiana. So you're out in Philly, huh?
I can't say the same for Philly today. We have rain all day.
Well, have you guys got a lot of rain this summer? I mean,
not a lot. We've been around average this year, I guess.
Okay, because it rained for us the first part of summer. It rained for, I swear, I was starting to look for the 2x2s for the horses, and the animals starting to line up because it rained like every day. I'm like, for like 2 weeks. I'm like, what's going on? This is not Seattle. But we finally got it adjusted pretty good, and it's been some really good days, some hot days. But today is a real good day because it's about in like 70, 78, 79. So I got a couple questions for you. I know that you're a member of Black Folk Hotspots, which, I want to give you applause on that. That's a great thing. One thing that I want to do is, before I start, do you remember how you found Black Folk Hotspots?
I think I found it through Google Plus.
Okay, so are you a big user of Google Plus? Is that your main social network? Is that what you use more than anything else, or what?
Well, I would say the main thing I use is still Facebook. I still go with the big one.
Okay.
Twitter is on the rise. I use that a bit too, but I still stay with the big one. I'm a believer in being where your customers are.
Absolutely. You know what? And what you just said is probably one of the most intelligent things I've heard this week. I promise you. And the reason why I say that is I have been having these not debates, but it kind of, as a business owner who basically really understands social media, and who's built a platform off of social media to help other business owners. It's amazing how when I, try to tell a business owner, advise them that they need to be on, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Google Plus, LinkedIn, at least those main six. I would see you taking, one out and, and going with I call it the top five. But I say, each one of them, if you have customers there or potential customers, you need to be there.
That's correct.
So what you just said was so on point. And I'm like, so if your target audience was going to the local fair, but you're like, oh, it's just a local fair, you're not gonna go. You know what I mean? So it's always. It always gets me, and I made a video about this on YouTube probably about a year, maybe 2 years ago. It was because I was talking to one of our members, back and forth on Twitter, and she was saying that she was deleting her LinkedIn profile, and I said, really? I was like, why are you deleting your LinkedIn profile? Well, I'm not getting anything from it, and my thing was, what are you putting in it?
That's right. That's right. Are you doing anything over there?
Because it's real simple And the fact that, and then I'm gonna tell you what her, I'm not gonna tell you her business, but I'll tell you a gist of what she did. She did a lot of marketing, advertising. She was like, if for instance, I know she did some stuff on the side, and I know she had a little hustle too that she did, but her thing was doing one of her things was doing like promotions, you know, the street promotions, right? So if it was an auto show, she might be, you know, one of the models for the cars and talking about the cars and this, that, and the other, right? If it was a liquor promotion, she would be at the spot promoting the liquors. And I said, let me tell you something. Do you realize that probably the biggest percentage of CEOs are on LinkedIn?
That's correct. That's correct.
I said,
they search that.
Yeah. And I kept trying to tell her that, and she told me to basically go F off. I didn't know what I was talking about, and she did delete it. You know, and I'm like, you may be getting a lot of business out of Twitter, but it's easier to connect with those CEOs. And I even tried to give her this scenario. And then I'll tell you, I had a profile on LinkedIn for probably about 2.5 years before I even touched it. But I had a profile because somebody told me you need to have a profile on LinkedIn. And so it was this guy at this company the company I used to work for, and I was in IT sales, technology sales. And when he showed me the way he prospected through LinkedIn, I was like, my God. And this guy was a $300,000-$400,000 earner with our company, but he sat next to me, and I would see him go every day. One of the first things he opened up was LinkedIn. He said, listen, Ryan, here's the deal. He was like, you got companies. He said, I'm looking for our companies, because we were selling it to medium and large companies, right, in North Florida. So what he would do is he had his companies and this, that, and the other, and he would look. So when, you know how LinkedIn tells you when if you have a person in your list, if they move on to another company and update their profile, they'll say, Jonathan Harvey is now working for XYZ company.
Yes.
You know, so he's looking like, okay, Jonathan Harvey was in the IT department, but Jonathan Harvey was, you know, he was just a tech guy. But now he's an IT director at XYZ company. So he would hit him up and say, hey, man, I've been working with your previous company, because most of those people are not leaving, you know, because they're upset with the company. They're leaving for a promotion. And and now he knows, this guy knows how smooth that this ran. Plus, he's been working with this account for 2 or 3 years, this, that, and the other. So he's probably had some type of conversation with them. So now he just walks his way right into a new account.
I understand.
And I'm like, and so he showed me, and I did the same thing, and and it just started popping. When I left the company, I used that to help grow Black Folk Hotspots. Almost the same identical way. You know.
I use a similar technique now. I have the ability to show a person what their website would look like without building it. And I'll send them an email and say, this is a demo site that I put up for you, and to check out. And this is what your old site looks like on a mobile phone. And then that right there is very convincing. Are you still
there?
there?
I'm here. I'm just thinking. I was like, wow, that's pretty interesting. And that's, these things are important. And I say that, technology and things like that, being able to use technology makes things a whole lot, simpler. It's no longer where we got to jump on an airplane, to have a meeting. It's no longer where we only can work with people in our inner cities or in our surrounding areas, 30, 40, 50 miles out, right? Now we can do things in real time, strictly through the email. My daughter is having her 15th birthday party this weekend, and which is really nice, because when her mom was like, hey, we're sending out these invites, I need some addresses, so what I did is I created a Google spreadsheet, added her on as a user, right? So, and then sent it out to my family and friends. And so as they put their information in the spreadsheet, it was updating on her end, and I never had to share it with her. She could just go on her email and pull it up. It's just simple stuff. And I know Microsoft does that too, but I'm a Google person. I like to use most of Google products where I keep things, together. So let's do this real quick. Let's kind of back up. What made you create the profile on Black Folk Hotspot? So you saw it on Google Plus, but then what made you create the profile on Black Folk Hotspots? What pushed you there?
Well, I reach out to everyone, but some things that I've heard in Bible study and all of that caused me to they caused me to concentrate on ministries, but I thought that one step further, and I should really cater to my people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And go ahead. I'm sorry.
And that allow the profile on Black Folk Hotspots allows me to address that issue.
Sure does. That's one of the reasons why we created it. And it's funny that you said, your ministry in the church and things like that. I tell people to this day, whether they believe me or not, but I was awakened at 3:30. It was around about 3:30. I know it was in the 3 o'clock a.m. hour, out of a dead sleep. And all I heard was, do what you've been doing for yourself, but do it for Black business owners. And here's the name. And it was Black Folk Hotspots. And one of the things that I did was, because I wasn't really sure I was hearing this correctly. And then, what I knew about URLs, I was like, wow, that URL is kind of long, right? And I was like, so I'm trying to shorten it and see if I can, skimp on it, to shorten it a little bit, that still had the same gist. And I had came up with like 4 or 5 different options. And what I did was I sent it to 4 or 5 of my friends at 3 something in the morning. I expected for them to respond with the one they liked the best in the AM. But instead, within 15 minutes of me sending that text message, they all responded blackfolkhotspots.com. So I'm like, they were up, and we all were working corporate jobs at the time. So, most of us was, in a couple hours, we'd have been getting up, trying to get the rat race to get to the office. And so that day I called off and I got started on Black Folk Hotspots, because originally it was in blog format. And so I just ran, and then in 2010, it was growing so fast. It was so much stuff coming in, because I would say, hey, if you want, all we were doing was just profiling businesses and sharing it on social media, and, and building the email list, the whole 9. And I started getting phone calls from around the country saying, hey, can you promote my business? Can you create a post about my business? And so after that, it started to get too much. So I said, I need something right now that gives me an opportunity for a business owner to create a profile, and it also gives them an opportunity to post other stuff about their business so that we can share it. Because even then, you know, I was charging $150 for a profile. You know, I was doing the SEO, I was doing the work, you know, this, that, and the other, and that's what I was charging. And they were paying it. You know, so I said, well, now that I have the network, I don't have to do as much. So I don't need to charge as much.
You have a network, and now you rely on user-added content.
Well, it was all user-generated content, honestly, because they were providing me with their bio stuff, and you know, I was asking, you know, pretty much the same questions that we ask here. So it was all pretty much user-generated, you know. But yeah, in a nutshell, absolutely. And, you know, which is no different from what Facebook has done, what Google has done, what Twitter does, what Instagram does, what YouTube does, what LinkedIn does, or any other site out there.
That's right.
We're providing the content. All they're doing is providing the canvas. And which is the same thing. And it's, you know, it's, and it's, you know, and using, because I am a Google fan, using the Google format of, you know, the freemium, you know, free up front, then if it's premium services of being able to add this and add that, because it's important, because it's business is being in business is hard. You got to market, you got to advertise, you got to do certain things, you got to network, you got to meet people, you got to do all these things. And there's so many solopreneurs that it's hard for them to try to do everything.
What you just said is one of the first things I have listed as a problem.
Okay, well let's slide into that. Let's slide into what are the main problems, you know, that you see with small businesses having with their websites and stuff today. Let's, you know, let's slide into that then. Let's go through that.
Well, the first thing I have listed is hosting. And I'm not talking about the reputation of the host and how many people host with the particular host or anything like that. I'm talking about free hosting versus paid or self-hosted sites. If you host on a free platform, especially if you have a business site, people see you as petty or very small time. But if you have a paid hosting platform or self-hosting platform, they see you as more upstanding. And also, on a lot of the free sites, they'll stick ads all over your site. Now you're spending your time building something that's promoting somebody else's product.
Right.
The second problem I have discovered is purpose. A lot of businesses just want an online business card, which is, it was great back in the day, but the way people are on the internet now, and you can use your website / web presence to initiate contact as a communication center, and another purpose of your website is to build trust, know, like, and trust, so people get to know you, like you, and trust you.
Exactly.
And one of the best ways to do that, or two of the best ways to do that, is have your social sites connected to your main website, and to have testimonials on your site Always have customer testimonials on your site, because people trust people who other people speak well of.
Right, right.
Yes.
You're right about that.
Another problem I see is in the design of a lot of websites. The purpose, one of the main purposes of the website is to initiate contact or provide a way for the customer to contact you. They don't have call to actions on their website. Some of them don't even have a contact us page on their website. These two things are very important. You have to provide a way for your customer to get in contact with you. Because now when people are searching, they're usually searching for something that they want to know how to get there. They want to know how to contact you. They want microwave access. They want access to you or your company right then. and that's what they're looking for. And another problem is how your customer accesses your site. The first one is PC versus mobile, or the only one is PC versus mobile.
Right.
People used to go home to their computer, type in your URL, and bring up your site. They no longer do that. If you pass out business cards, they'll look at your business card, and while you're in conversation, somebody will bring up your site on their mobile phone.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so and 50% of Google searches, you say you like Google, 50% of Google searches, local searches, are done on a mobile phone now. Mobile phones outnumber computers 5-1. Which direction you think it's going in?
Oh, absolutely. It's only getting higher.
Yes. And the load speed of your site, how fast your site loads, that's a problem. And the ease of management, how easy your site is for you or the person that you designate to manage. Now, those are the problems that I see that small businesses have with their websites today.
Right. Now let me ask. So
you help our clients.
Okay. So yeah, that was my next question. So how what do you see? How does your business address these problems and help these potential clients out?
All right. Our first problem was hosting.
Mm-hmm.
We provide an ad-free self-hosted site. Only what you want on your site goes on your site. I don't even put a hosted by link on my client's site, because my clients give me, all of them are affiliates anyway, but my clients give me enough word of mouth that I don't need to put a link on their site. So the only outside links that they want on their site, that's the ones that are up there. The second one is purpose. We help them establish their website as a contact and communication center. So the website becomes the hub of their activity, the hub of their communication with their customers. We help them establish trust by providing social links and testimonials right on the homepage, so people can see it when they get there. We make sure there are, in the design, we make sure that there are several calls to action, but if you know anybody that's in the newspaper business or anything like that, you know what above the fold means.
Mm-hmm.
Above the fold is, in the terms of a website, is what a person sees when they open your web page. So you want a call to action above the fold. You want, when a person opens your web page, you want them to see, call us, or call us for a free estimate, or, you know, but you want to call that call to action initially. And we make sure that they have a contact us page.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as far as the way your customer accesses your site, you know, people go online on their mobile phones probably 5 times as much as they do on their computers now, but we make sure that everyone has a responsive website, which is saying that it's easily accessed from the web or from the mobile phone. So the site automatically reconfigures itself when it realizes that the person who's accessing the site is using a mobile phone. It reconfigures itself to fit the mobile phone, because you don't want to have people scrolling through your site having to enlarge this and enlarge that just so they can read the information on your site. You want everything to conform to their phone, so all they have to do is just scroll through your website.
Mm-hmm.
And load speed and ease of management we address with a self-hosted version of WordPress. WordPress is one of the best content management systems out there. It's very easy to operate. If you learn to operate the post, or if you learn to make a post, you can add a page, you can add an event, because all of the stuff inside WordPress operates similarly.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a lightweight content management system. WordPress in general is quick loading. So nobody, because if your site loads slow, somebody actually finds you online and they go to visit your site and they're on their phone and the little wheel is going around and around and around and around, they're going to close that and go to your competition.
Hey, you know what? It's funny you say that, but go ahead. Yeah, our attention spans are like gnats, but go ahead.
So that's what, and the final thing that I didn't add as a problem is support and training. We provide support. If you're my customer, you have my email, you have my phone number. Anytime you have a problem, day or night, I get calls in the middle of the night sometimes because somebody has a problem or either thinks they have a problem. And that's all well and good. And training. You need, and like I say, WordPress is an easy system to learn, but I train every client or a representative of every client to operate the system.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it in a nutshell.
And you know what? And every one of those things, you know, I'm gonna tell you, you're going, you know, that's one of the things with Black Folk Hotspots, because now, you know, you can go through and you can look at, you know, other business owners' websites and literally say, okay, this person is a great candidate, because what I look at is pretty much the same things. I'm a little pissed off right now with, and honestly, to be straight up with you, with Black Folk Hotspots, because what I did back in, you know, 5 years ago or 5.5 years ago is I rushed, and I knew I should have built Black Folk Hotspots in at least WordPress. I knew that then, because that's what I did previously. I was a blogger, you know, and I went between both of the free main blogging sites, WordPress or or Blogger, and I used both of them. But the one thing I liked about WordPress was that it's built on an open platform. You know,
That's right.
What I didn't like about Google was that it wasn't built on an open platform, and it wasn't a lot of different. Back then, it wasn't a lot of different customizations that you could do, like you could do WordPress. And even today, when I'm talking to people, I tell them New York Times is built on WordPress.
WordPress originally was a blogging software, and that was it. But it has grown, it has developed, and it has become one of the best content management systems out there. You can make a WordPress site look any way you want to.
Absolutely.
Even to just being I was looking at something in an email earlier, but even to just being a point of contact. You know what I mean? If you want this free ebook, put your email in here. And that's all they see. Even to that,
Absolutely, it's money. When I passed on my website blogging business, when Black Folk Hotspots started to take off, that was one of the things, and that I talked about. I was like, yeah, there's WordPress and there's Joomla, there's a few other things. I'm like, I'm gonna tell you, WordPress is going to serve the 99% of the people's problems. And what is not on the face of it, there's some plugins or some add-ons that's going to be in the back that will solve it.
That will make you do what you wanted to do.
Exactly. And that was what I liked about it, because it was open, which WordPress, now you have people across the world, if they have a problem, they're trying to figure something out, and they got any type of code and tech skills, they would build a plugin.
They'll come up with a solution, and if WordPress likes it, they'll put it on their plugin site for free. Yeah,
absolutely. And that was one of the things, and so. And I'm gonna tell you, and she's done really well. But that's one of the things that I talk about, even with you haven't been a member long since like June, but there's members that have been with us, for about more than since the very beginning, back in January of 2010. And one of the things that that they could tell you whether they liked what I was saying or not is I basically have said the same things, those points you made, over and over and over again. And the thing is, when I'm looking at a profile and I go to click on, I'm going to look, I say I got spaces, for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, for 6 different places. It's not a coincidence that I have places for those 6. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn or Google Plus, because some people don't have a Google Plus, or some people don't really do their LinkedIn. So I just use either or there, but those are like the top, they're the top 5 right now. I mean, top 5 or 6. And so when I go in and a person, they'll tell me that, one of the questions that we ask is, how did you discover Black Folk Hotspots? And they'll say Twitter, right? But then there's no Twitter link. And I'm like, because are you aware, are you familiar with about.me?
Yes.
So
that is my every outgoing email.
Okay, perfect. So that the about.me is basically what you talked about before, that online business card.
Yes.
And you can give a person that because it's simpler, and then they can connect with you on Facebook or Twitter or Pinterest or wherever you want to connect. And yes. one of the things is that's one of the reasons why Black folk hotspots is like it is. You know, and I'm not gonna say I hadn't thought about, you know, creating just that online business card for that, but that's what the profile is, and that's what the free profile is. So when I'm telling people create a free profile, because people click, you know, my traffic, you know, our traffic is, you know, we're ranked, you know, in the top 527,000 websites in the world, according to Alexa, right? We're ranked in the top 92,000 in the United States. You know, we get traffic to the site. That we do, you know, but more importantly than that, our bounce rate is 13.5%. So people are not just at a page and then leaving. They're staying. They're sticking around.
They're sticking around and checking it out. And yes.
Which means they're going through profiles and profiles and profiles and profiles. They land on your profile. They may have came to Black Folk Hotspots, you know, to BFHS Network based off of something else, right? And then they say, well, let me see what else is. Here's something over here, and here's something over here. Because here's our page views. And this is as of right now. Our page views per visitor is 53. And that's up 5%. The bounce rate is down 3%. Page views 53, and the time on the site is 52 minutes and 38 seconds.
Because they stumble to something and they're trying to figure it out, and then they see something of interest and some free information, and man, I'm telling you, I have a platform that I operate that I was going to speak to you about, but I joined one of the groups that you are the leader of. I believe it's directories or something like that.
On LinkedIn?
No, on Black Folk Hotspots.
Oh yeah. I saw that. Yeah. You know, early on, and I'm gonna tell you.
I'll build a directory for your Facebook page, and then I'll show it to you.
Okay, because one of the things, and that's, you know, what I did in my thought process was combine all these things. You know, I'm like, okay, on Facebook you got this, on Twitter you got this, on LinkedIn you got this, on this, you know, you got About Me, you got all these different things. But the biggest thing when I talk to business owners is, you know, their thing is getting more support, getting more exposure. Those are the number two, you know, I call it the number 1 and 1A issues with them, with, you know, their particular interests. And I say, well, here's the thing. You're posting on Facebook, right? You got an Instagram, right? You got a Twitter, right? You have a LinkedIn, right? You got a Pinterest, right? So what's the problem? You know, but I tell them, you're in a big ocean. You're like, it's like you sitting out in Lake Michigan or the Pacific or the Atlantic Ocean. Black Folk Hotspots brings it to your bathtub. Can you find that little rubby ducky in Atlantic Ocean, you know, that's sitting out in the middle, or in your bathtub? Which one you're going to find it easier? And that's what people like. So people, yes, they're trying to figure things out, but they're stumbling across different things. And as they do that, that's what we're growing. And I'm going to tell you, when I look at these numbers, and then I compare them to the number 1 site, Google, the number 2 site, Facebook, and the number 3 site, YouTube, people are spending more time on Black Folk Hotspots combined with their top. They're flipping through more pages than the top 3 combined. The only thing that we don't have at Black Folk Hotspots that they do is the millions of users. That's the only thing. We get you know, if we take where we at right now with 2,100, a little bit over 2,100 members, and if we double that, I guarantee you we go from being ranked 527,000 to the top 100,000 just like that. Which means now with all that content, because what happens is, this is what I be trying to tell people, because we don't do this as much as we should as Black business owners, and that's communicate, that's share information, that's partner and connect.
That's correct.
So what I said was, okay, so if you're posting this about your business, but you're posting it here, right? Already looking at the fact that how many page views per visitor and how much time. By your posting your stuff about your business per se, you're helping another business owner out.
That's correct.
Because they're gonna look at your information. Maybe they connect with you on Twitter, say, okay, I'm gonna get some more information on this, but then they see something else and then they connect with that. That's the gist. And it's so funny because literally, I don't always tell all the different things, but I'm an internet marketer, so that's what I am by trade. So I can go and look at things and be like, okay, I see exactly what that person did. Yep, I see what that person did. When I'm looking at the stats, I can see the walkthroughs. I can see, okay, you went from here to here to here. Sometimes I'll be like, well, how did they find that link? You know what I mean? I don't even know how some of this stuff come up. I'd be like, wow, that was posted back in 2010. And they didn't come from Google. They didn't come from the search engine. And our search engine traffic, our Google traffic is right now rose in about right now it says they're even. Facebook and Google traffic are even at 12.6%. So, they're sending traffic. We get a lot of traffic from Twitter. Pinterest is ramping up. If I had to look at our last say 20 traffic sources, Facebook, Google Plus, Pinterest, Twitter, some site I never heard of before. But those are it. And so basically what I tell people is you post, we share. And then the other thing was you have, I understand email. And sometimes what I try to tell people is everyone who has a social media network, every one of them is attached to an email. It is. Now our social media network, our social media audience now amassed across the top, 5, 6, and a few others places, amass about 300,000 people. Urban professionals that we didn't go out and buy. It all grew organically from just sharing business owners' content over and over and over again, and then putting that into effect of knowing what Madison Avenue knows, that people need to see things. And this was 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, that people needed to see things 7 or 8 times before they acted. Nowadays, with what you said, with the attention spans, now they need to see things 15, 16, 17, 18, 20, 25 times before they act.
And if it takes too long loading, they go.
They will, and I'll tell you that I know our sites loads slower than average, but what I'm happy with is our increase of traffic at all times, because we know how it is. Sometimes you tune one thing up and then you screw down another thing. So so it's like, wait a minute, okay, what's the give and take here? I know that we're an authority with Google. I know Google is constantly crawling our site, which means when they crawl our site and say your site, is not indexed yet, they're going to crawl our site, find your URL, and go crawl your site.
I understand.
So but yeah, so how long have you been, what made you get into this? Was this something that you did prior, or how did you start your business? What made you start it?
The funny thing is, I hadn't touched the computer until 2002.
Okay.
around a little bit on my future wife's computer, and I said, "This is interesting. Oh, make some money with this."
See, you know what? We might be kindred spirits because I know you're a few years older than me, but that's the same thing I said in 1995 or 96. But go ahead.
I said, this is real interesting. And then as I advanced a little bit, I said, well, I see I need my own presence to draw people to. And I got my first website, and then I said, well, it will be easier to do this in a different way. And then I got into the web hosting aspect of it, and I learned a little bit. I would always learn as I went. I learned a little bit, but I learned a bit more. And eventually I had my own web hosting platform. So that's how and from the hosting of websites and things that I like I say, I noticed naturally. I thought about the phone thing from seeing people walking around always on their phones or looking at their phones. And when I started passing out business cards, and they would look at my business card and go to their phone, I say, wait, they're accessing my website. They're no longer going home to access my website. They're accessing it on the fly. I said, this phone thing is going to be very, very important. And that was maybe 6 years ago.
Mm-hmm. It is. And it is. And that's the one thing that we're in a process of doing right now. Excuse me. Sorry about that. But we're in a process of doing that. Thank you. We're in the process of doing that right now. And because like I tell people, we've been in beta for 5 years. And a lot of people don't understand. It's still, like people are like, well, why you don't do any major advertising? And I'm like, because I don't want a major influx of new people coming to the site. Because at this point, what I know is I can switch on a dime, and not to be funny about it, but if half the people said, oh, we don't like this, we're still not hurt. But even if you had much more. So, and then as I build out the team, I want to have the proper people in place to handle the increase, because we want to go. I'm going to create, a full-fledged. I want to build this code from scratch, right? So that's what we're looking at right now. I'm looking for somebody who can build a code, and just like they will be typing it up, because and I want them to be black, or already had it done already. Because I'm sick of looking at Silicon Valley or some of these tech companies. I'm sick of looking at their flow charts and seeing nobody who look like me on their flow chart, or if it is, it's way down at the bottom, or it's 1 out of 70. I'm like, seriously? Or in order to deem accept, to deem that they're accepted, or to get acceptance, they have to go out and find a white co-founder, or you know, someone of another ethnicity. Why can't we go in together and say, this is our company, and still get, if we go searching for VC money or whatever, and, you know, investors, why can't we do that when we are the biggest, as Black people, we are the biggest consumers of technology.
That's correct.
We're one of the drivers, the main drivers to any platform, you know, for the most part. So it would only make sense for us to have ideas of how to make something better. You know, and it's so creative, because you can have something and say, okay, I'm going to do that better. You know, I'm going to build something similar, but it does this. You know, just like back in the day, we had Groupon jumped on the scene. With Groupon was pretty much one of the last few companies that actually created something that had never been around. You know, and that's why they blew up so quickly. But all they really did was took Sam's Club or Costco or one of these, you know, bigger bulk buying places, and they created that online. But then you had these other companies that come out behind them.
In order to get the deal, you would have to pay for it first, and then the deal would be supplied to you.
Absolutely. You know, and that's what they did. And, you know, and it was, and then they worked, and it was funny because then they worked as basically a loan company to these businesses. If I owned a restaurant, and, you know, and today, you know, I got a chicken and waffle special, and I say, hey, you know what? 50% off of chicken and waffle specials today. Well, I'm going to give, Groupon's going to get the deal, right? So they're going to pay Groupon that price, but then Groupon has negotiated with that company a smaller percentage to pay them out. You know, that's how they worked, right? So they would give the company a percentage up front of the sales, and then Groupon would put it on them to say, we're going to sell 10,000 of these coupons, or we're going to sell 100,000 of these, or 1 million of these. So, you know, but what happened is, where they start to suffer, which I was worried about Groupon for a long time, after a while, after they turned down the offer from Google and a few other companies, because I was like, I would have took that money and I'd have ran. I would have.
Yes, most definitely.
Here, I mean, to me, here's the opportunity where you had a company with very little debt. You had CEOs who didn't put that much money in it. They had a lot of venture capital money, you know, once it got going. And then Google says, we'll give you these many billions for your company and keep you on board, because Google didn't necessarily want the company.
They want to run it.
Exactly. They just wanted it under the umbrella, because, well, this is what I tell people. I get hit with these people that hit me with, you know, NDAs and this, that, and the other. Listen, I don't want your business, okay? I have one that can keep me working for 28 hours a day if I had that much time. But, you know, I tell them, but I say, don't be, you know, because here's the thing, because I don't know what you're about to tell me. And I sign an NDA, and then you tell me something that's already on my roadmap. So then you try to come back after me legal wise through the legal system saying I stole your idea, when in reality I already had that idea. You know, so, and I say, hey, you either got to tell me or this, that, and the other, and I'll tell you, hey, that's something that I'm thinking about. Let's partner on it instead. You know, let's partner, because you can bring your idea, I can bring my idea, and then I tell them, you don't know 5 people that have had their business idea stolen. I guarantee you. And if somebody took black, if somebody,
when a thought is possible, it's possible to others.
It is, but the difference is too, is you can take black folk hotspots and you can say, You can go in, look in the source code, reverse engineer everything I do, follow me around for 6 months, watch every move I make, but you will never, and recreate it, but you will never, ever, ever have my 100% thoughts.
That's right.
It's impossible. No two people got the same thoughts, even if they're identical twins. Grew up in the same household, the same parents did the same thing. They got a different set of friends. You know,
that's right.
You know, but yeah, so I kind of stray away from those, and I'm like, just tell me an idea and let's rock and roll. What do you need from me? This, that, and the other. What can I help you with? Because I'm a big believer in trying to help. You know, it took me a long time. Back in '95, when I saw the computer when I was in college, and I was like, this thing is great, and I was using it for. And I'll be honest, I was using it. I was like, wow, you can meet women on here.
I already knew.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, and I did. I met a few, and you know, a lot of people complain and said they didn't have some horror stories. I never had a horror story, but that was the first thing. And because of my entrepreneurial mind, I was thinking there has to be a lot of money. So I went into the affiliate marketing side. You know, I was selling products and events and all types of stuff, bicycles, you know, and Amazon, you know, and I also sold on Amazon. I also sold on eBay. I made $60,000 selling on eBay in 2001. You know, the problem is, and I know that you probably realize this, maybe, I'm sure it's probably not much different in Philly, is I was one of the first people to know about a computer.
Yeah.
Out of all my friends, they all tell you that you're the first person that had one. You're the first person I knew that had a computer at home. You know, and I didn't have a mentor that I knew that could have told me one small thing. Because I think by now I'd have been a power seller. I'd have been, you know, a multi-million-dollar seller on eBay had somebody had told me, leave the computer, get away from it, do what you got to do, walk away from it, go take a walk, go play golf, go run down the street, go to the grocery store, go do something. But instead, I would just keep hitting F5, 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 refresh all day. And it became boring to me. Here I am making money. Here I am bored. So I went back to work. I said, I need social interaction. I need people around me. I went and I sold cars, you know, which was cool. But I still kept my learning and just trying to learn certain things and doing things part-time and, you know, and just still running these blogs. And that's the thing that I try to help people and pull them up and say, hey, you're making a mistake. Let me help you out with a shortcut. Yes, you're doing great on Facebook. You got a lot of interaction. And yeah, you're getting clients, but you're still working for someone else.
That's correct.
So obviously you're not getting enough clients to say, I quit. Because if your full-time job pays you $100,000 a year, $50,000 a year, and your part-time job pays you $40,000 a year, I'm gonna tell you it's time to leave. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you it's time to leave that other one, because that 8 hours or 10 hours or 12 hours that you're spending at that location, you could be putting into your own business.
That's right.
And I tell people, don't stay because of the insurance. You can get insurance as a self-employed almost as cheap as you can with that little percentage that your company's chipping in. And now with this Obamacare and all this stuff, it's, you know, you can pretty much get it. I tell people, you know, now they don't have to worry about it because now pre-existing conditions are covered. So it's really a good thing. And I tell people, it comes a time, and I get that question a lot, when should you quit? And I had my hand forced a little bit. but I had already put in my resignation. I didn't turn it in. I had just wrote it up and had it saved. And I was going to quit in March of 2011. But they let me go in January of 2011. And I chalked that up to God knew. He was like, get out of here. You already been here a year too long. You said you were going to do 2 years and you were out. But, you know, and so I was a little afraid of really breaking that tie again, because now it wasn't just me this time around. You know, back in the day, I didn't care because it was just me, and I had money stacked up to the ceiling. You know, I always made good money, you know, doing things, working, but I would work 2-3 jobs, and, you know, I always had some type of little hustle thing on the side, you know, whether it was, you know, cutting grass or doing whatever, right? It was just what I did, you know, selling watches, selling socks. I sold socks out of the trunk of my car. And people they was like, man, that's funny. And I bring out this wad of money. I'm like, yeah, this funny too, isn't it? You know, but yeah, and that's what I try to, it's so many different variables. I'm like, man, think about how much. And then the biggest thing I see is us as Black people, and I'm sure you probably agree, is we need to start connecting. You're doing something, you know, what you do. There is graphic designers you should connect with if you're not connected with, you know, all different things that run into that. And you guys merge, or at the very least start referring each other back and forth, and everybody grows.
That's true.
You know, I watch these people create Black business directories, and you know what? I try to say that we're not a Black business directory. We're more of a social media directory. For Black business owners, for lack of a better phrase, you know, and we're into social capitalism. As we help this company get more exposure, we're gonna grow. So that's how I kind of look at things, because I see Black business directories start, and I can look at them, Jonathan. I'm telling you, I can look at them and I can say they ain't gonna make it.
Yeah.
I mean, they might have, and they have a great look. That's another reason why I haven't changed the look and feel of our website. I haven't changed anything.
Still on the call?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna have to get off,
okay,
because I have some grandchildren here.
Yeah, we gotta. You know, I'm glad you said it, because we're getting carried away, because I gotta wrap it anyway. I got a 3:45. Well, hey, here's what. And I am gonna wrap this. We'll continue this. We'll set up another time and we'll continue this. There'll be a part 2 to this. Okay, y'all. So I know it's a good conversation. But tell people how they can reach you. Besides going to Black Folk Hotspots, and your link is in the description below. But tell them how they can reach you directly.
Well, you can always call 267-270-5607. That's my business line. And if I don't answer, my wife will answer. And if she doesn't answer, you'll leave a voice message and I'll get back to you. I get back to every person that calls that number. That's
what's up. And then what can they go to the website they can go to?
Yes. That's probably the link that you have on blackfolkshotspots.com. That's www.yourownurls.com. That's YOUROWNURLS.com. That's my website. Point of contact. You'll see some call to actions. It'll tell you to call the same number that I just told you to call. It'll give a little information about what I do. I have a special price on that website that's really discounted, $200. I usually charge a $200 setup fee, because I not only help people with their web presence, but I help them with their social presence too. And what you said about Google, I'm a big believer in Google myself. The first thing that I always have people do if they don't have it already is to set up Gmail.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, because Google is a big springboard, from Gmail, you can get YouTube, you can get access to their webmaster tools, there's so much you can do from that.
Mm-hmm.
But
absolutely it is. It's so much.
All of that.
So
capturing the Google Plus local.
Right, exactly. And that's, you know what, and I tell people, you know, I guess I'll let this secret out of the bag. You know, I guess I got to throw out a nugget every now and then. You know, people who are having trouble getting indexed by Google, if they're not posting to Google Plus, I mean, I've always said, I can't confirm nor deny, but I know one thing. If I was running a company and somebody was using my company, they would rank higher than somebody who wasn't using my company.
I always say Google shows Google stuff.
Right. You know, I'm like, that's another reason why you need to be on YouTube. You know, and I don't care how much Facebook fights them with video and this, that, and the other, the stuff that come in from YouTube. They cannot beat Google.
That's right.
They can't beat them. You may do this better, but Google does search.
That's right.
And people start at search, and that's why Bing and Yahoo had combined, and then Bing and Facebook combined to try to beat Google. And they still haven't. But anyway, John, it's been a pleasure. I really appreciate you coming on. We definitely got to do, you know, if you want to set up another time that works for you, let's do a part 2 to this. Let's talk about some other things. I also have some people that I need you to connect with out in Philly too, that are doing some really, really, really good things out there, and they're also in the tech space. One being, I'll put the link to one of the guys on your Black Folk Hotspots page so that you can connect with him, because he's out in Philly and he's in the tech industry too. So either he might need your services or might be able to connect you with some people. He has some networking events at his co-op space too, so it might be something you want to check out. Okay. And I appreciate it. I got to run because I got another one, but I really do appreciate, you know, the chat.
It's been a pleasure.
You got it. Thank you. I appreciate my brother. All right. All right, y'all. There you have it. There you have it. You know, episode 28 in the books. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Check out the links in the description. Please go get you a Support Black Business shirt. $17 today. Help support us to keep these interviews coming and other things that we are able to do and offset the cost for Black business owners. Peace. And if you're a business owner, think I forgot. If you're a business owner, please make sure you go to blackfolkhotspots.com and create a profile, and make sure you like, share, subscribe to our channel on YouTube. If you're watching this, circle, follow, pin, and click and share our posts and things like that you find interesting with your networks. That's the only way we can go. Support those who support you. Peace, y'all. blackfolkhotspots.com.